For years, squats were the bane of my existence. I never felt like I got much out of them. They always tended to hurt my lower back or my knees or some other joint. And they always just hurt like crazy in a systematic way. It took me forever to recover from them. Thankfully, that's no longer the case. And it's not some weird little tweak or trick or routine that's made it happen for me. Instead, it's a completely different approach to squatting movement that I wanted to share with you this week for this week's Movement Monday. The first shift that I made was not thinking of the squat as an exercise, but as a movement. The way I see it, the squatting movement is any type of activity that involves your hips getting closer to the back of your ankles and then standing back up again. So this not only includes the classic squats, but also lunges, step-ups, jumping. Any gross, big lower body movement pattern is patterned after the squat movement. Recognizing this gives me and you the ability to integrate the basic movement into a variety of exercises, so you're constantly practicing the movement even if you don't do actual squats. The second big game changer for me was realizing that the squat is not just a strength exercise. This is the functional triad that I came up with earlier this year. These are the three things you need to functionally perform better at almost any exercise. The neat thing about squats is squats use all three of these in pretty equal measure, especially when it comes to progressive bodyweight training. It requires strength, it requires mobility, and it requires stability as well. Recognizing that squats are not just about strength gives us more of a broad application of why we squat and what we're hoping to get out of it. Mobility in the hips, mobility in the ankles, stability in the hips, especially when it comes to advanced exercises like lunges, Bulgarian split squats, and of course, pistol squats. Recognizing that we want to improve all three of these functional aspects makes us more aware of where we may be shortchanging ourselves, like, well, I've got strength, but I don't have stability or mobility. And improving the weak link in this triad will do massive things for your athleticism, your ability to build muscle, and just the general way you use your lower body so that you don't have any pain, discomfort, and you can move a heck of a lot better. The third big thing that made a big difference wasn't just about squats, but exercise in general, was that the key to progression is proficiency. Hard work and pushing your muscles to the breaking point is great, and it's very important. But I've learned over the years that it doesn't matter how hard you work, if you never get actually better at doing an exercise, your results stagnate pretty darn quick. So practicing and becoming better at squatting, not just squatting harder and working your legs until you can't walk anymore, but working on improving your ability to squat through that functional triad is really the key to getting the most out of your squatting movements and all the exercises they're associated with. And the fourth thing that really made all the difference in the world for me was I started practicing squats every single day. I knew that I needed to practice my squatting a lot more than once or twice a week in a squat workout in order to get really good at them. And this is especially the case in our modern day society. We're sitting around so much at desks and chairs and at the office that doing one or two squat workouts a week can't possibly hold a candle to hours and hours of sitting every single day. And even though sitting and squatting may look similar in the gross way that we're using the body, they're miles apart different in how we're using the tension within our muscles. Primarily, the biggest difference is when we sit, our posterior chain, the hamstrings, glutes, and calves, is allowed to turn off because something is supporting us. When we squat, the opposite is the case. We need a lot of tension in the hamstrings, glutes, and calves in order to support ourselves and to squat in a safe manner. So this is why I always recommend when people are about to do their leg workout, warm up with some like bridges, table bridges, or even just simply holding a slant plank to get those muscles turned on. Because the better the muscles in the back of your legs are working, the better you will squat with less pain, more mobility, more stability, and a heck of a lot more athleticism. Also, try to get the squat worked into a lot more of your everyday activities. The squat has become my go-to way of just getting closer to the floor. If I need to get down and pick something up or I'm cleaning something down low, I'll squat down in order to do it rather than bending over. This ingrains the squat movement pattern into my daily activity. So again, I get a lot better at the proficiency of squatting. So there you go. Those are my big 4 tips on how to squat better, safer, stronger, and get a heck of a lot more out of all of your leg workouts. Questions down below. Be fit, live free.